Ever feel like managing your respiratory health is, well, like trying to solve a really complicated puzzle? You're not just imagining things. Today, we are going to crack the code on your medication and uncover some of those hidden rules that can make a huge difference in how you feel day in and day out. Does that sound at all familiar? If you've ever had a thought like this, you're actually tapping into something really important. It's a sign that the when and the how of taking your medication matters so much more than you might think. And we're about to find out exactly why. So let's stick with this idea of a puzzle. Your whole treatment plan is just that. Every single piece, from the exact medication you're on to the food you eat, even the time of day you take it, it all plays a vital role. And to see that full, clear picture of your health, we've got to figure out how they all fit together. And believe me, this isn't some small niche problem we're talking about. This puzzle affects over 262 million people with asthma all over the world. And that number, it doesn't even include the millions more with conditions like COPD. So yeah, getting this right is a massive challenge. This is exactly why we need to shift our thinking. We've got to move away from just seeing it as a daily chore, got to remember to take my pill, and start seeing it as a personalized game plan for our health. So let's dive into the playbook. All right, first up, rule number 1 is the body clock rule. This is all about learning to work with your body's powerful, natural rhythms instead of fighting against them. There's a whole field of study around this called chronotherapy. And honestly, it is totally changing how we think about medication. And that brings us to the core concept here, circadian rhythms. Now, you've probably heard of this. It's your body's internal 24-hour clock. But it does so much more than just tell you when to sleep. It's constantly dialing up or dialing down critical things like inflammation in your airways, and even how well your lungs are working from one moment to the next. And this is where it gets really fascinating and a little bit problematic. Your lung function naturally hits its lowest point in the super early morning, right around 4 to 6 a.m. This happens to be the exact same time your body's own anti-inflammatory systems decide to take a little break. And that creates this window of peak vulnerability. So that leads to the million-dollar question, right? If the danger zone is in the middle of the night, when is the absolute best time to take your preventative medication? Should it be in the morning, right before bed? Well, the science actually points to a surprisingly specific answer. And get this, the answer is the mid-afternoon. A really groundbreaking study found that taking your medication between 3 and 4 p.m. gives you the best shot at preventing those overnight symptoms. And why is that? Well, it allows the medicine to build up in your system and hit its peak power right when your body's natural defenses are at their weakest. It's like sending in reinforcements right before the battle. But here's the thing. Even the most perfectly timed medication in the world is completely useless if you don't actually take it. And that brings us to our second and incredibly important rule, closing what's known as the adherence gap. And wow, just look at these numbers. They're pretty staggering. The World Health Organization estimates that about half, 50%, of all patients with chronic diseases just don't take their medication the way it's prescribed. That's literally a coin toss on whether a treatment plan is even being followed. And as you can see here, how complicated your routine is makes a huge, huge difference. The adherence rate for a simple once-a-day pill is way higher than it is for a twice-daily inhaler. So it seems like simplicity is a really key ingredient for consistency. And the consequences for not sticking to the plan? They're serious. For every 25% drop in how consistently you take your controller medication, your risk of ending up in the hospital actually doubles. This isn't just about feeling a little off. This is about staying out of the emergency room. Okay, so we've covered timing and we've covered consistency, but there's another layer to this puzzle, stacking. This rule is all about understanding how your medication interacts with everything else you put in your body, from your lunch to your morning cup of coffee. Let's look at a perfect example. Here we have two really similar medications, but with one critical difference. Montelukast, you can take it with or without food, no big deal. But zafralukast, if you take that with a meal, you can basically block its absorption, making it way, way less effective. And it is definitely not just about food. For instance, low vitamin D levels have been linked to worse asthma control. Your daily coffee could interact with certain bronchodilators, those rescue inhalers. And if you're taking multiple medications, a situation doctors call polypharmacy, the risk of a bad interaction just skyrockets. And that brings us to our final rule, which honestly might be the most important one of all.
Because after we've talked about timing and consistency and stacking, we have to face the fact that there is no one-size-fits-all solution. The final rule is all about personalization.
Your response to medication is as unique as your own fingerprint. It's shaped by your specific genetics, the exact type of respiratory condition you have, any other health issues you might be managing, and of course, your personal lifestyle. All these things matter.
So, what does all this mean for you, practically? It means that to really optimize your health, you kind of have to become a detective for your own body. By tracking your symptoms, your habits, how you're feeling, you can start to piece together the personal patterns that work best for you.
Now, this doesn't mean you have to figure this all out alone. Absolutely not. The goal isn't to replace your doctor, it's to supercharge your conversations with them. Just imagine walking in with clear data on your personal patterns. You can work together as a team to build a plan that is truly effective and personalized for you. So maybe the future of medicine isn't about finding that one single magic pill that works for everybody. Maybe it's about empowering each of us to understand and then unlock our own personal health patterns. And you know what? The first step is just paying attention.